The cut, I just accidentally clicked the wrong button. Happens sometimes. But anyway, I'm just going to start bringing this dashi to a boil. Here we're starting to boil our water for our soup. So we're just going to bring this to a simmer and wait for our dashi to be done. So I'm just going to wait for this water to boil for our dashi. Grab my chopsticks from over here and start making sure I start squeezing the dashi. We want to bring this to a boil over medium-high heat. We want to start squeezing the dashi flavorings out of our packets with our chopsticks. So I'm just going to wait for that to come to a boil. I want to check the exact specifics. This dashi is commonly used in Japanese recipes to serve as the soup stock base. Alrighty. There we go. Wait for this to boil over medium heat. Make it a little hotter. So I'll just elaborate on the type of noodles that we're going to be using as well. We're going to be using ramen noodles, as I mentioned earlier. You may have heard of ramen as a different dish. It is a different dish, and these noodles work for ramen. But there are a couple types of noodles in Japanese cooking. There's soba noodles, which are thinner. There's udon noodles, which are thicker, but sometimes can be thin as well. And there are actually noodles called yakisoba noodles, which are commonly used for stir-fry noodles. I'm going to be using these brand of ramen noodles because they're my favorite type of noodle. However, you could easily do a substitution for something like udon or soba. Squeeze some more flavors out of my packets. This recipe actually comes from the book Japanese Cooking: A Simple Art, 25th Anniversary Edition by Shizuo Tsuji. It's a really good book and has a lot of good recipes. It has their own recipes for beef bowl that we've done on this channel and among other things. So I highly recommend, if you're interested in Japanese cooking, that you pick it up. If you actually take a look inside, the water is now starting to turn brown, which is what we're supposed to be seeing. This water should start water should start heating up soon. We're already starting to see bubbles form, which is what we need. Now I'll let that leave the cover on for a minute. Checking our water over here. Alrighty, so our dashi's starting to boil. Just wait a little longer. Here we go. Now we just wait just a little longer. Didn't anticipate it to take a while. I should have anticipated it to take a little while longer than normal because there are 4 cups rather than 2 cups of water. The normal ratio I use for dashi packet is 2 cups of water per 1 pack. And I have 2 packs and 4 cups of water. So. There we go. It should boil soon. More and more bubbles are starting to come up. fact, what I'll even start to do is start to squeeze more flavor out with my chopsticks. We want to make sure we get best of all of these flavors. Great. It's starting to smell really good as well. Dashi can be based off things like mushrooms and kelp, and also niboshi, which is a type of fish. I believe this is based off a mushroom. I believe this is based off a mushroom dashi. Great. Here we go. Okay. Now we just check for on our packet recipe, which comes from just one cookbook, as it was for the beef bowl. Gotta get my teaspoons down, put in tablespoons of salt. Great. Almost at a boil. If you look at it, it's almost there. Not there yet. We're almost at a big boil we're almost at a fully rolling boil there. Almost there on this dashi. Sorry for the dead space, it's just we're waiting for this to boil before we can season everything in. Or we can put all of our seasonings in. Great, our dashi is at a boil. We'll put this on medium-low heat and simmer. And let it simmer for a couple of minutes. That dashi looks and smells just absolutely amazing. Squeeze out all the flavors. Great. Now what we're going to do is we're going to let this simmer, but we're going to add in our seasonings. So first we're going to add in 3 tablespoons of dark soy sauce. I'm going to use a little less, probably 2 tablespoons, because I have less dashi. The original recipe calls for 8 1/3 cups of dashi, so I'll put in roughly a little over 2 tablespoons of light soy sauce, which in this case is our saltier soy sauce. So first, I'm going to do it over my pot to prevent any spillage. Just a little extra. Great. Okay. That's the light soy sauce. Now to put in the dark soy sauce. How much dark soy sauce do we want? 3 tablespoons. So we'll put in 2 and a little extra, because we have less dashi than what the original recipe calls for. 2. A little extra. Alrighty. Now how much mirin do they want? 2 tablespoons of mirin. You have very salty soy sauce broth right now. So we're going to put in our mirin, which is really sweet, to help sweeten this up. 1, 2, just a little extra, or just 3. Put in a little under 3 tablespoons. I always like a little extra mirin in my food. Great. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put in sugar. That's salt. This is sugar. 2 tablespoons of sugar, which seems like a lot, but it's needed. Put in 1.5. That's 1.5. They want 2 teaspoons of salt. I'll put it in 1.5, so this is a half teaspoon here, so I'll put in 3 of these half teaspoons. Great. And that's it for seasoning, so what I'll do is I'll stir it all together with my chopsticks, making sure everything gets all incorporated. Smelling really good, and I'll leave this to simmer for a couple of minutes. Roughly 2 or 3 minutes simmer time. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the water, I'm going to take the I better take some water out. I'm actually going to take some of the water out of my pot. I'm going to reboil my water. Or get my water back up to a rolling boil again. So that I can put in my noodles. Almost there again. Great. Maybe even one more cup out. Put in a little too much water. Okay, now that should be good. It's a rolling boil. Now I'll drop in 2 portions of these noodles. Let them cook for a couple of minutes, probably 2 or 3. Maybe even 1 portion's enough. My noodles in and now they're cooking. Try one. Always remember to try. Almost there. Lower the temperature a little bit. Try again. You also want to do this off of feeling. Try this again. I'll turn the water off and let this cook in residual heat. Try again. Take these out. Push these. I'll try these noodles here. It's a little al dente, they're almost done. But you don't want them to be too thin either. You want them to be relatively chewy because ramen noodles are pretty chewy. Okay, one more and then we'll call it. That's good. pour out the water in this in a colander. My apologies, I forgot to get one out from earlier. Get out my small colander and bring this water over so I can pour out all the noodles and water into the now I'm all steamy, but these were my finished. Oh, I got a little water on me. But I'll bring my finished noodles over to you. This is what my finished noodles look like. They're a little. I overdid them just a hair. But they're good for those who want a soft noodle. Now my dash should be done simmering, so I'll put it up. So I'll shut off my broth. I'll get a bowl. Some of my broth. Oh, I should get an oven mitt for that. It's a little warm. You should ideally take the packet out. You should ideally take the packet out before serving. I just forgot to do it, but it's fine. I'll take some of my noodles. Put them in. Serve them around. And that's what my finished product looks like. I'll just try a sip. That's really good. Has a mushroom stock and has the mushroom stock, my light and dark soy sauce, and I'm glad to bring this to everyone. It's a really quick and easy dish to make, so I'm really glad that I was able to bring it to everyone so that they can enjoy. Stay tuned for any future videos we'll do. I was really glad to bring this to you. Bye-bye.